Let's play Stump the Wizard. I mean, you're talking about high-value session here, Don.
Yeah. Don't give me the dunce cap. Make me take it home.
Well, let's see how you do. So this is your chance to ask Don, the Mad Wizard himself, your burning e-commerce questions. We appreciate everybody that has already submitted those questions. Let's get right to them. Oh, and I can't forget that Blair Candy, how could I forget about this, Don? Blair Candy has been sweet enough to offer candy to every single person that tries to stump you here today. Okay, so if we read your question on the air here, you're going to get candy from Blair Candy. And if you happen to stump the wizard, you're going to get a box of candy. I mean, just we're going to load you up with candy if you stump the wizard here. So I can't forget that, Don.
No, don't forget that. You know, I'm going to sit there and come with a question I can stump myself just for the box of candy.
All right, now let's get to it. All right, so this first one is from Michael. And his Stump the Wizard question is, can robots.txt or nofollow tags keep Google from indexing a site search? For example, search.store.yahoo.net. What do you think, Don?
Well, you've got two different areas to deal with. Robots.txt, if it was put to block that page, would work. A nofollow, if you've got links to that page, would work on those links. But on Yahoo, you cannot affect the robots.txt. And if someone's linked to the search.store, you can't change their external link. So what you can do is actually put a noindex tag on your site search page. Now this generally will only affect for Yahoo their old search, because that one you can actually impact. The new search, you can't, you actually don't have to worry about it because the content doesn't get indexed because there's actually an iframe there. But so it is possible to keep them from getting indexed. Net result.
Good question. Well, I, the host of the webinar, deem you not stumped for this question, Don. But Michael was sweet enough to ask this question, and we're going to send him some candy so he'll be even sweeter. Michael, thank you for submitting that question. Blair Candy is going to send you some candy out here. So David asked the question, what single factor other than relative content increases organic search rankings? What do you think, Don?
Well, this is an SEO question, so, you know, I think no matter what, if you ask 30 SEOs, which I am not, you'll probably get 30 different answers. But if I was to give an answer on this, I would probably have to say it's going to generally come down to links. It's going to come down to links, your link structure internally, and also link structure, or not link structure, but links externally coming to you. Basically getting good value links in from good authority sites, related sites, things like this will all have value. And honestly, other than content, that's off the top of my head what I would consider probably the biggest SEO factor.
Okay. Good answer. David, thank you for that question. Now we've got Mike, who asked, he asked the wizard the question of, if all the revenue in $1 bills from every e-commerce store except Amazon were laid end-to-end, how many round trips to the sun would it make? Don, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I technically have two answers to this. First one is actually there would not be a round trip to the sun because the dollar bills would burn up when they got there.
True.
So it would never come back. But if you're actually looking for a real answer, I think I've worked it out basically being it's about 93 million miles to the sun, and I would say an average dollar bill is a little over about 6 inches, so about 10,000 bills. So last year, e-commerce was about $1 trillion or a little over. So you're about a half a trip. You're getting to the sun but not coming back would be my answer. I want to see someone prove me wrong.
Well, Don, I'm sorry, but I counted 5 times that you said the word about in your answer, so that's not a specific answer to Mike's question here. And so I'm going to deem that he actually stumped the wizard here with this question, and we're going to send a candy box from Blair Candy. You got to work harder on that, Don. I mean, this is a pretty simple question, and I expected better, frankly.
Okay, well then I guess you better send me that wizard, that dunce cap. So I can put it on.
All right, good question. Thank you, Mike. All right, let's move on to Marty. He says, how does Google see filter navigation when done with AJAX on the website's domain? Is filtered nav, you and I are a fan of filtered navs, Don. Is filtered nav a plus or contextual nav? What do you think, Don?
Well, I think it's going to, first off, for contextual versus filtered, I think it's going to depend on your product mix and your vertical. I'm big into filtering, especially when you have a lot of products in a section, because people get overwhelmed. You can actually provide too many choices, and people will not interact because there are too many choices. So I personally love filtering. A contextual nav is great, as long as it means when you get down to where you need to be that you've got a small subset of products to choose from. Now, as for Google seeing the filtered navigation, I think filtering, just like anything JavaScript related, pagination, first key thing is making sure you've got those links written on the page in HTML that the JavaScript can hide or do what they want to do with. Once you can turn off your JavaScript to your section. Google will, in theory, index JavaScript, but I don't trust that. So I, as a rule, put the filtered nav in there for usability, but make sure that the page can be read by search engines without that JavaScript turned on. Otherwise, you should be fine, and I think it makes a great usability benefit. Frankly, either way, if you add a filter, or you add contextual nav, anything to help the customer navigate to the products quicker.
Yeah, one thing I was going to add too on filter navs is be careful that you're applying the filter nav on sections that actually need it. You know, in reviewing one of the sites that submitted their site for review here today, I saw that they had a filtered nav and there was only like 25 items, you know, or less on the section page. So it's better for more items. What do you think, Don?
It is. I mean, there can be benefits to even a smaller section page, but I've seen pagination where they add pagination and they add sorting, and there's like 5 products. And I'm like, I don't need to sort 5 products. I don't need to sort alphabetically or by price. I can see them all. So it just adds something that really isn't needed on the page. And I'm big into, if you don't need it, don't put it on.
Right, right. Good point. All right, Bob says, what is the biggest mistake, Don, the biggest mistake made in designing and operating an e-commerce store? Pretty wide open question. Thanks.
Yeah, biggest mistake. Wow, there's a lot of big mistakes you can make. My biggest one, honestly, is coming into it. I don't know if any of you remember, but there used to be a late night infomercial, and some of you weren't up late like I am. It was called the Internet Treasure Chest, and it was all about you open a site and you start selling and you make money like, you know, hand over fist, and you work like 3 hours a week. And I think for me, it boils down to making sure that you enjoy what you do, that you enjoy the products you sell if you can. You know, if you've got something that's hopefully specialized, that you enjoy what you want to do. You want to be good at it, and you're willing to put in the work. Don't go in blind. And you know, the other mistake, that's probably the biggest mistake. The other mistake is just making sure to not paying attention to what your customers want and need. If you constantly go with what you believe you need, that may not be right. And so my second one, not the biggest, is trying to get in touch with the customers and finding out what matters to them. There you go. I'll give you 2.
Yep. Well, if you've made any mistakes with that, Bob, you can be comforted in the knowledge that candy is on your way from BlairCandy.com. Thank you for asking that question. This next one is from Devin. He asks you, Don, my average order value has been flat for years, and it's hurting my business. What am I missing? Without the value of looking at his analytics or his site, what do you have to say in general to that question, Don?
Yeah, without seeing the site in particular, I would say the big things for me, A is, as we talked about, you know, doing that add-on selling and upselling, making sure to sell them some related products. I would also look at, as we mentioned, bundling. Is there a way that you can take your products and create a bundle that people can buy? And this could be, you know, related items, they can be items that work together. I mean, depending on the product mix, the main thing is getting those out there. And then if the products, you know, recommend it or can do it, put recommendations on there. All these things that we sort of talked about already, but all of them, you know, the idea is to get your customer to see and want and to easily buy more. There we go.
Good question. Thank you, Devin, for asking that to the Mad Wizard. Let's take a couple more questions here. Next is from Dave. He asks, what is the easiest way to add videos to my site? Mad Wizard, what do you think?
Easiest way, get your iPhone, record it, and put it on YouTube.
Right.
There are, you know, a lot of ways to do videos, and there's a lot of ways to host them and whatnot. And there are some SEO benefits to different options, but for simplest, yeah, take a video. Doesn't even have to be great. I mean, obviously the better that, you'll learn as you go along, but just take them, get some good info in there, and then put it up on YouTube. YouTube gets searched, so even if it doesn't get SEO value on your site, someone may be searching YouTube and come across it. And it also can show up in search results in Google. So that's the easiest way. They give you copy and paste code, you can drop it in your caption, and there you go.
All right, let's have one more question. This is from Jeanne. She asks, how effective is Google Plus for driving traffic?
Google Plus. Personally, I don't see a lot of traffic from Google Plus. I'm not saying there isn't some, but obviously other social media has a little more traction than Google Plus. To me, the biggest benefit, as I mentioned before, in Google Plus is setting up that publisher and author markup, so you can get that markup on your page, so you can get images in the search results to get the click-through. I personally think you're going to get more gain from that than actually doing a lot on the Google Plus. Now, maybe Google Plus, as it goes along, maybe they'll find ways to get more people using it, but I just personally don't see a lot of people browsing there, unlike a Facebook or something like that. So there you go. That's my answer.
That's your answer, and you're sticking with it. That's your humble but accurate opinion, Don.
Well, I don't know how accurate, but we at least try here.